My name is Alma Vasquez, and I am a community health worker here at Homeless Prenatal Program.
And I'm Elisa Gaskin. I'm a community health worker as well for Homeless Prenatal.
And I'm Nikisha Allen. I'm also a community health worker for the Homeless Prenatal Program.
Okay.
And so what we do is we are the first people who the client sees when they come to the door when they're new clients. So we do their intake. We do several things, but one of them is we try to supply the client with their immediate needs if we have them at hand, which sometimes may be hygiene products, emergency food bags, and diapers, which are very, for many people are, you know, they have these things at home, and some of our families don't, because either they're really on fixed incomes, on welfare, or they recently maybe had, you know, lost their job or things like that. So our families come in from, you know, everywhere. Mm-hmm. We serve a diverse population, and what happens is during the intake we assess their needs, and from there the client will, you know, let us know what their situation is, and most of the time that is one of the biggest needs.
Sometimes it's the difference between a child not having diapers and the mother or father being able to afford them within the next week. Even people coming out of shelters or transitional living.
Do you have a particular story of a family that needed diapers, or?
Yeah. One of my first intakes, one of my first cases, it was a family. It was a mother and a father and two children under the age of 3, and she was pregnant. They were living in a park, in a car that was parked alongside the park, and they had been bathing in the bathroom when it was open, and then they came in and they were looking for shelter. They weren't sure about how shelters worked, and the two children that were under 3, they ran out of diapers and they weren't able to afford any. They didn't have any income whatsoever, and when we told them that we could supply them with the diapers, I remember just how happy they were and how their faces lit up, and were excited that, you know, they could do that for their children, being that they were so tiny.
How many families do you guys see per day that come in for diapers?
We see a day. We probably see anywhere from 24 to 30 clients a day for intake, and I would say about 75% of that number needs diapers. For some reason, a lot of times, you know, new mothers, especially, you know, new mothers with toddlers, sometimes they weren't able to go back into, you know, the workforce as soon as they thought they were going to be able to, and, you know, their unemployment check is running late, or they just applied for, you know, unemployment and they haven't got a reply yet. So what happens is a lot of times the families might have a little income, but it's not coming, you know, fast enough for the need, you know, for the need of what they need, the basic needs. I remember I had a client that came in and didn't. The child was 2 months old, and the mom had the child in a T-shirt as a diaper because she couldn't afford it. So what she was doing was washing the T-shirt, so she couldn't even afford cloth diapers. So she had the diaper tied, the shirt tied on both sides with a knot, not even a safety pin, and it was really, you know, she felt embarrassed, you know, because she felt like she wasn't able to provide for her child, but she felt such relief to come here and just, you know, receive some diapers, and it like Elisa said, it can just brighten someone's day.
We give clients 20 diapers, and if we have them available, wipes, 1 to 2 packs of wipes that we have individually wrapped.
And any sizes that are the highest need?
The bigger sizes.
The bigger sizes.
So anywhere from
3 to 6.
3 to 6 are the most needed.
And also pull-ups.
Pull-ups.
We don't really get a lot of. We normally get our pull-ups actually from a lot of families who actually are clients maybe, and their children have moved up and they have a few, or are donors that normally come already and bring Infamil, and they bring certain donors that come already, just families that donate to homeless prenatal. When they bring the clothing and things, they'll bring some of them, but we don't really have that many pull-ups, which makes it a little bit difficult. And I think that because of that, a lot of the kids aren't being potty trained, because there's constantly in a diaper, that it makes it hard for the parent to actually train the children until they end up in diapers a little longer. Just because of that. Even though they could probably put a cloth underwear on, but since a lot of our families are, like Lisa said, in shelters or and don't really have a steady place to go, they don't have the advantage of going to a bathroom often.
Yeah, or being able to afford a laundromat to
continue washing the clothes.
Yeah, a lot of the criticism that we get is, well, how come people don't use cloth? It's really cheap, and so I think there's a lot of understanding that's needed with this situation, the life situation that a lot of families are in. That, like, can they afford cloth?
Well, I mean, they really can't, because they would still have to go wash it. And not only that, it's like a lot of the families have to make sacrifices. So it's either we buy dinner for tonight, or we buy diapers.
Baby diapers.
So what are we gonna do? They're faced with these situations that a lot of people, most people don't go through these things, but there's a huge population that does. And like Nikisha said, coming from that situation, I think that we really see the need, and we really, it's in our face every day, and a lot of people do turn away from it, but this is the reality of life.
Yeah. Well, we were just at the Bayview Mission this week, and they were telling us that, there's no supermarket in Bayview. And at Walgreens, they lock up the diapers and they lock up the formula. And there's no Babies R Us there. And I think that, especially in San Francisco, a lot of families are able to drive to the Target. They're able to drive, to a big box store. But I'm wondering where they get where families get diapers, like where.
Because I'm a part of the Bayview community, and there are no supermarkets. There's one supermarket in Spruce-Co. It's kind of a little bit off of San Bruno, but at one point I have to go to Walgreens to get diapers for my son, emergency, and they were almost $20–$30, way too expensive.
$18.99.
Yeah.
For a pack?
Just a small pack of 24 or 28. Yeah. Almost $30. And it was
So clearly, just that alone is even though it probably wouldn't be the most nutritious meal, but for a family of 4, they can eat at McDonald's with $20.
Yeah.
You can go to the grocery store and get a meal for a week for $20 if you go out of budget. Right.
So
for that much money for instead of diapers.
So sometimes diapers mean no food
or transportation, because they need to get from shelter to shelter. Some shelters are just a nightly basis, so they have to leave the next day and look for another shelter or come back later on that day.
And it's first come, first served, basically. If you get there early enough, maybe you get a bed. Get there a second late. It's the difference between sleeping on the street or getting a bed.
So I heard in San Francisco, the family shelters are. I mean, there's a huge waiting list to get in. But where are families going?
They're going to either right now they're able to go to the winter shelter, but that's only available till end of January. And normally a lot of them go to either some of them are held. Some churches have shelters, but those are only overnight shelters. So church in the Bayview and a church in only women for this part in Lake Merced area, and Hamilton, which does overnight beds, but they have to call at 11 or at 5 to see if there's room. Which that's really stressful for families, because if you're not next to a phone at those hours, how are you gonna get a bed? And then if you do go, for a phone call. So it's real hard for our families right now because there's no room. So sometimes we do have to refer them outside of the county, just for them to get a bed for the night, which is super inconvenient for them, because then some of them end up homeless in another county because they can't get back.
That's right.
What counties do you guys
So
refer?
Alameda County,
San Mateo County.
San Mateo County, and I think it's Contra Costa, Contra area.
Yeah, Contra Costa.
So we really try not to send them that far, because we know that a lot of services not only are from us, but local San Francisco services, they won't have access to them.
So if there's anything that do you guys want to say anything about the diapers, or anything that, to sort of the outside community of San Francisco and the Bay Area at large, of, on behalf of your families?
Just that diapers are appreciated. Greatly appreciated. If your child's grown out of them, make a donation to anyone that's close to you. It doesn't have to be homeless for you. You see a neighbor struggling, a friend, pass them on. It's like diapers are gold. We say that here every day. Diapers are like gold here, especially to the families. And on behalf of them, if you're able to buy a pack and spare them, do that. It's just it's a matter of eating or not eating.